What's up, baseball fans, and what's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talkin Mets with Rob, live right here, day 94 of the MLB Lockout by the owners. Today was the meeting, Sunday, first time, technically the first meeting in New York when the players union were supposed to give a counteroffer from the latest proposal from the owners. Just so you know, guys, the meeting is already over. I want to make that clear already, guys. Today's meeting is over. It lasted about an hour and a half. They got there about 12 o'clock. Now, granted, this doesn't mean it's a bad thing. The players were supposed to give the owners a written list of their counteroffer. It was supposed to be specifically around the CBT, which was most important. And clearly, the bargaining chip that the players have was the 14-team playoffs. So I'm assuming they're probably saying, we'll give you the 14-team playoff, but we want this. So we're just waiting for the news to come out to see exactly what was in that proposal by the players. And hopefully we would actually get all the information that we need so we can talk about it and break it down, because that's why we're here, right? So the meeting is over. It lasted about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more, in New York City. There was 3 lead negotiators on each side. I'm assuming just the players giving a proposal to the owners, and that's basically what that hour and a half was for. Again, waiting for news, any news, to see exactly what is in that proposal so we can break down everything that we need to do. So once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to Talkin Mets with Rob. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit on that subscribe button. And right now, if you're in the stream, hit on that like button, guys. We'll be with you until we get all the news that we need from the latest negotiations today on Sunday. And hopefully, if they can get this done by this week, we can probably start the season in the second week in April. But that's still a big if. So here we are, Sunday, March 6th at 2 o'clock, and the meeting's already over. Again, that's probably doesn't mean it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just they are just done. The meeting is over. We are waiting. They could just be in separate offices talking about it, or the meeting is over. The owners got the players' proposal, and now they're going to cipher through it, break it down, and maybe come in a counteroffer tomorrow. We don't know. That's why we're here, to find out exactly what is in that proposal from the players. And what we're going to do right now, before I get to your comments and say what up to everybody in the chat, I'm going to refresh Twitter so we can actually, all right, so we do have information regarding the proposal. So before I go into the proposal, I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat. Stony, member of Talkin Mets Rob, Eddie, Mets Nation, Nick, Tigers fan, Robert, Jose, Karen, Nelson, Santiago, Steven, Victor, Daniel. How you guys doing? Thank you guys for tuning in. So the meeting is over. Evan Drellich just posted what the players proposed to the owners about a half hour, 45 minutes ago. Once again, guys, the meeting is over. It lasted about an hour and a half, but there is information regarding what is in the players' proposal going to the owners. Here we go, guys, from Evan Drellich. Listen up, guys. MLB PA proposal per source would grant MLB ability to implement 3 specific on-field changes within 45 days notice, starting with 2023 season. So we know that was one of the things that the owners wanted to have ultimate control of, changing rules with a limited amount of notice towards the union. The union wants 45-day notice starting in 2023. The players want a pitch clock, larger bases, shift restrictions, not bans, shift restrictions. MLB also wants robo-umps with 45-day, I'm assuming, notice players didn't offer. Pre-arb pool starting at $80 million, down from $5 million. So nothing here with the CBT. So all the information that we thought we were going to have yesterday regarding the CBT, that was going to be the main focus, it clearly wasn't. So I guess it's a start, but we're talking about minuscule freaking rules. Large bases, shift restrictions, pitch clock, and on-field specific rule changes. You got to give 45 days notice to the players union. The only thing that actually involves money is the pre-arbitration pool that the players were at 85 million and dropped it down to 80 million. So here they go nitpicking again. So I don't know really what that really does for anything. It doesn't really jumpstart the major issues. And this is what's pissing me off, guys. I'm going to see if there's anything else that we can find. If we can find anything else besides just that, there had to be some CBT talks, guys. So once again, guys, for the people that are just tuning in, please listen up. MLB's proposal at the moment, this is only a little information. I don't know if this is the whole thing, but this is what's currently the information that we have right here. According to Evan Drellich, from his source, MLBPA would grant MLB owners ability to implement 3 specific on-field changes with 45-day notice starting in 2023 season. Putting in the pitch clock, large bases, shift restrictions, all of those, they would have to get a 45-day notice in the 2023 season. So it's not even going to be implemented this year. Why are they talking about that now? Who the hell knows? MLB also wants robo-umps. The players didn't offer that. So the players don't want the robo-umps, but the owners do. The pre-arbitration pool, which is the only economics that was spoken in this proposal with this current information that I have, pre-arb pool starting at $80 million, down from $5 million from the last player's proposal. So that is what we have at the moment, according to Evan Drellich of The Athletic. So that's what we have right now. So maybe there's more information that's going to come out with this proposal. I don't see why they're talking about this when the majority of what I just said means absolutely nothing. It's not going to solve the major issue, which is the CBT. And I don't understand why they weren't talking about it. But that's what it is at the moment. I'm going to post it on the on the screen so everybody can see it. Give me a second, guys. I'll get to your comments. Don't worry. I don't forget. Sorry, guys. Let me just type it in so I can give you the information so people who are just coming in can see it so I don't have to keep on repeating myself and I can start answering your questions. All right, so here we go right now, guys. I'm going to post it right now. For one more time for everybody who's just tuning in, the meeting is over. It ended. It was about an hour and a half, hour and 40-minute meeting. This is the information that we got so far. The pre-arbitration pool that the players offered is $80 million, down from their prior proposal, which was $85 million. Mostly, this proposal was about rules. The players would grant owners rule changes with 45-day notice starting in 2023. Robo-umps was on the table for the owners. The owners wanted that. The players said no. So at the moment, that's all we know right now. So the only economics that was spoke about in this proposal at the moment was the pre-arbitration pool money, not the CBT, which makes no sense because all we heard yesterday, we talked about it on my live stream. All we heard yesterday was they were going to focus on the CBT and the 14-team playoff. That's what we heard. And obviously, they're not talking about that. Maybe some more news comes out, but I don't know. So that is the latest right now. The meeting is over. On your screen right now is exactly what the information that is out right now in that proposal. Again, they could have spoke about the CBT, the 14-team playoff, the minimum salary. We just haven't heard about it yet. But at the moment, that's what is out there right now. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat and we can get to it. Alrighty, who else is in this chat? Braden, what's up? Timothy, what's up? La Potencia, Webbs, MB, Mueller. What's up, guys? So I'm going to check your comments out really quickly, guys. But if you're looking for what's going on, it's on the screen right now, so you can read it. I will be going over it again. Karen, thank you. One of my favorite sweaters, hoodies. Victor, thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Nick, if it's morning time for you, good morning. All right, so I'm going to start at the top of the list. Stoney says, can't wait to see what happens today or tomorrow. Crossing my fingers. Well, it looks like tomorrow is going to be a little, hopefully we have another meeting. Maybe it's a quicker proposal. Who knows? Eddie says, just hoping and praying that they can come to a rational business agreement so that we can still have a baseball season 100%. Met Stacy says, hey, what's up, Rob? Nick says, hi, Rob. Tigers fans, any news what's going on? At the moment, that's what we have that's on your screen. Nick, do you think the Mets this year, Mets baseball this year, when the lockout ends, they have a pretty good shot? Robert, what's up, Rob? How you doing? Jose, how you doing? Nelson, what's up? Santiago, what's up? Steven, hello. Karen, thank you so much. Victor, Daniel, yes, we heard about the 4 teams. 3 of those teams actually voted no for Steve Cohen owning the Mets, so not surprising. Yeah, I saw the fake news with Chris Bryant as well, but I still think the Mets are going to be involved with Chris Bryant, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Robo-Umps, yeah. I don't know why that got into the mix all of a sudden and all these rules that they got to give the union notice. I don't know why that was big sticking points. It seemed like they should have talked about more about economics and money, but what the hell do I know, right? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. So I'm just going to refresh Twitter, guys, just to see if we got something else that we can hear, that we can talk about. But just give me 1 second, just scrolling through Twitter. So the fake report that I believe, who just said that? I'm sorry. I lost it. I think it was somebody. Daniel. It was somebody. I'm sorry if I missed it. I was looking through the chat. But there was a fake news that Chris Bryant signed with the Seattle Mariners on a 5-year deal. Obviously, they can't do that because there's a lockout. So whoever believed that, I mean, it probably got hundreds. It got 370 likes, 387 likes, 22 retweets, and 22 quote tweets. So people actually fell for it for whatever reason. I don't know why they did, but whatever. That's not the important part. But I'm refreshing Twitter just to see if we have any more information besides what is on your screen right now. But if that's the only thing they spoke about today, that is just complete nonsense. I just don't understand it. Like, wasn't the big issues? Okay, so we got a little bit more information from Chelsea James. Union holding on CBT threshold and minimum salary of $725 for 1 to 3 year with ability for teams to offer more. For all the talk of playoff format, Union maintains it doesn't want 14. Was open in right format, sticking at 12 games and out. So basically, nobody budged. So basically, they met in the meetings and spilled the same nonsense to each other. So I just don't understand. So what was the point of meeting if you're not gonna budge? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, It's not looking good. It really is not looking good, guys. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it, guys. Alexander, go get Bryant 100%. But you know what? As much as we want to talk about who the Mets should get, who the Yankees should get, who whatever team you root for gets, this damn lockout needs to end. Needs to end. And they didn't do nothing today. They absolutely wasted everybody's freaking time, yours and mine's, to go over rule changes and pre-arbitration pool money that the union went down $5 million, and the CBT, the owners didn't budge, and the players didn't budge on a 12-team playoff. So whatever we heard yesterday was utter nonsense. Once again, guys, the same nonsense, the egotistical asses from the owner's side and the player's side continue to do absolutely nothing to get this deal closer. In my opinion, guys, you know what they should do? They should have fold up the chairs, go home, and don't waste anybody's time with this ridiculous waste of time and news. That's what it is. They traveled to the MLB offices to speak for an hour and a half. It probably took them longer to get there than to meet for an hour and a half to give that nonsense you see on the screen. Mostly about rule changes and only a pre-arbitration pool. So they didn't even speak about the CBT. Like, I just don't understand what the hell both sides are doing. Nobody, sorry about this, throwing my marker. Nobody wants to make a deal. It's just that simple. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute joke. I don't understand why they're not working on the core issues and all this other nonsense, the robo-umps, the rule changes within 45 days, give us a notice. No, why worry about that? Worry about the big issues. You shouldn't be spending an hour and a half and expect people to actually just think that they're just going to magically appear and things are going to happen. It's an absolute joke, guys. Major League Baseball owners, the players, wasted your freaking time today. And I apologize because it's a joke. They made this big deal yesterday with all the reports that we heard that the players are willing to go to 14 games. A 14-team playoff. Heard the owners have a little bit of flexibility if they get the 14-team playoff, where they have a little bit of flexibility raising the CBT. And we got nothing from today's meeting except garbage that you see on your screen. In my opinion, guys, I don't think either side wants a deal. I think they both rather miss the freaking season and go about their business. That's what I think. At this point, I think that. I think it's an absolute joke. They don't appreciate the fans. They don't give a damn about the fans. All they care about is their own self. They look in the mirror, that's the person they care about. They don't give a damn about the next person on the left side or the right side. They don't even care about the guys in their clubhouse. And they damn sure don't care about us, guys. It's getting to the point now where it's clear to me that they do not want a deal. Either side. So whatever side you think you're on, pay attention to what's going on here. They're wasting everybody's time, including themselves, wasting their time, probably traveling longer to get to the MLB offices to sit down and speak for an hour and a half to make absolutely no fix in anything. They didn't talk about the CBT. The owners didn't budge. The players don't want a 14-team playoffs. They didn't budge. So what are they doing? What are they ordering breakfast? Like, I just don't understand it, guys. I don't understand it. Alexander, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you keep on tuning in. Unfortunately, I don't have the news that I wanted to give everybody, even if it was progress. I don't even think this is called progress, Alexander. This is basically a stalemate. Basically, they just didn't do nothing. The players did propose this to the owners. Now, they didn't budge on the CBT. So obviously the players are going to ask for the 238 like they asked for before. It didn't seem like the owners are willing to budge on that 220. So if the owners don't budge on 220, excuse me, the players are not going to budge on the 14-team playoff, and we're basically stuck in front of a brick wall at the moment. Who knows if they're going to meet tomorrow? I'm going to keep on refreshing Twitter to see if we get any more information about it. Yeah, you see, here's from NBC Sports Edge Baseball. MLBPA offers modest changes in latest CBA offer. I just don't understand it, guys. If you can understand it, please enlighten me because I just don't understand it. What are they effing doing? I just don't know, guys. I just don't get it. I'm going to start looking at your comments, guys, because looking at my Twitter account just annoys me. Webb's 100%. I talked about this yesterday. I thought the perfect way to get baseball back and to get the notoriety of the sport is to start the regular season on April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day, the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. That would be so perfect. It would be back page news. It would be all over every news station. I don't care what political side you're on. It would be a big story on either side. It would be such a big deal that Major League Baseball will be on the forefront, will be the talk of the country if baseball comes back on April 15th, with it being the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. They just don't get it. And you know what? I don't care I don't care if the players think they're right or the owners think they're right. They're both wrong. Nobody's actually making any attempt to move closer to any side. And if that's the case, you know what? Do what the NHL did and miss the entire season, because at this point, anything in late April makes me not want to even bother with the season. Like, I don't want to go and say, oh, great, May 1st starts the season. I don't want that. There's no need for this season to start on May 1st. No reason at all. And when the players keep on saying that the owners are willing to miss a month, I think the players are willing to miss a month because they're not really making more of an attempt. I've seen the owners move a little bit more in the direction of the players. The players have not moved at all. And then you can say, well, Rob, you know, they're staying pat. They're united. Yeah, maybe. But there's a reason why the players made a counter proposal, because when they got back to New York, when Tony Clark got back to New York, he got the consensus of more of the players. And I guarantee you a lot more of the younger players were like, what the hell are you doing? That deal is pretty darn good. Guys who are in their first year making $575,000 now, with that deal that the owners would have proposed in Florida, their last and final offer, they were making $125,000 more. Clearly, there's some rift in between certain players and the players who are actually making a big deal with seeing Max Scherzer there and stuff, and Garrett Cole and other players like that. I just don't understand why they're not speaking longer to focus on the things that need to be focused on. Because I think if the owners move a little bit on the CBT, I'm not saying $1 million, I'm talking about between 5 and 10, I think they can get a deal done. I just don't understand. Like, who gives a damn about how many days the union needs to give notice, or for the owners to give notice for rule changes? Who cares about the rule changes if you're not on the field? If you're not on the field, the rules don't matter. So I don't know, guys. It's frustrating. I'm going to keep on going down with your comments. I see a lot of people talking about Giannis Fargas. Yes, the Mets re-signed him to a minor league deal. He had a little bit of a flash last year, which was interesting. Nora, how you doing? Let's see. Yeah, it's the same crap. That's the problem. And that's the problem that everybody's having. It's the same thing. Why meet at all? You could have emailed each other. The players union could have emailed it to them and not meet. At least I would have said, well, they knew it wasn't going to be a good proposal. I mean, I just don't understand why the players look at that and know that the owners are not going to even budge on the stuff they asked for because it's basically a useless proposal. It's like the players keep on coming back with crappy proposals, and then they know the owners are going to counter, and all you're doing is pissing off the owners more and more. And I can guarantee you, if they're going to meet again tomorrow, the owners are going to give a worse deal than they currently did from the last and final offer. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I know, Webbs, you don't like Chris Bryant. I know. Well, V-Rush, at this point, I have no idea. It seems like the players were willing to give that to the owners if the owners raise the CBT to around 235 to 238. But none of that was even talked about because the players didn't want to go to 14 teams and the owners didn't want to go above where they currently were at 220. So I don't know, guys. They're not even trying. I just don't even think they're trying anymore, honestly. Like, you know what? Fold up. Everybody goes home. Cancel the season. Stop wasting everybody's time. You know what the NHL did? What was it, about 10 years ago? Maybe 12 years ago? They didn't waste no time. It was very, very quickly that they had their negotiations. Nothing went well. They canceled the season because they knew nothing was going to get fixed in time for the season to start, or at least the season to start somewhat on time. They knew that. They canceled the season. Why don't they just come out and cancel the season? Why waste everybody's time? Everybody can focus on whatever else they want. You can focus on the NFL Combine. You can focus on March Madness. You can focus on the NHL playoffs and the NHL last couple of months, the NBA, whatever you want, golf. Let people focus on something else because having people and the puppets of these reporters, because that's what these reporters are. Every one of them are either puppets for the owners or puppets for the players union. Everybody, we talked about this yesterday on the stream, guys. Everybody from Jesse Rogers to Chelsea James to Jeff Passan, almost all the reputable reporters were saying that the players were willing to go the 14 games because they believe that the owners are flexible with the CBT to a certain extent. That's what was talked about. We talked about this in the stream yesterday. And all of a sudden, they meet each other face to face and nobody budges. The players keep the 12-team playoff and the owners keep the 220 CBT. Makes no sense. So, knowing that none of them are going to budge on those two issues, let's talk about rule changes that makes absolutely no sense. Because if they're not on the field, guys, the rules don't matter. That's why there needs to be a third party in this situation that has no ties to the owners and no ties to the players. And let's be honest, the owners did ask for a federal mediator twice, and the players union said no. So if the players union keeps on giving half-ass proposals just to get a reaction from the owners with their counteroffer, nothing's going to get done. Because all you're doing with these half-ass proposals from the players is pissing off the owners that are going to give a half-ass counter proposal, and we're going to be talking about the same thing again tomorrow or whenever they're going to meet. I don't see why they can't meet for 5-6 hours and figure crap out. They're not doing that. Bryant. Chris, how you doing? Well, Chris, I don't think a deal is getting done because the meeting's over. I know you might have just tuned in. The meeting's over. It was an hour and a half. They met from 12 to 1:30. Yeah, 12 to 1:30. The players gave their proposal, which was exactly what you see on your screen right now. The only economics talked about, money that was talked about, was the pre-arbitration pool, and everything else was about robo-umps and rule changes where they have to give the union a 45-day notice. That's it. So what probably happened? They probably walked into the room, sat down. Players probably said, "Raise the CBT." The owners probably says, "Give us 14-team playoffs." Both of them said no. Both of them threw that issues to the side, which are the main issues, and focused on nonsense that means absolutely nothing if you don't play the season. So there's clearly not a deal today. Clearly. Unless somebody decide, unless the owners somehow counter, which I doubt because the meeting's over. So unless they're going to meet again tomorrow, I don't know. I just don't know. Timothy, I don't know if they're meeting tomorrow. There hasn't been no confirmation of that yet. But that's why I'm keep on looking on Twitter and see if you get any other news. If who is happy, maybe they spoke to somebody. I don't know, but we're gonna find out right now. Hopefully, find out something. Yeah, I don't see anything else at the moment. Anything that's importance, nothing. Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, thank you for tuning in to Talking Mets and Rob. The latest on the MLB meetings. The meetings did last only an hour and a half. The players did give a proposal to the owners, and what's on your screen is the only thing they propose. So if you were thinking about the CBT, you might as well throw that away. You were thinking about the 14 team or the 12 team playoffs, you can throw that away because they didn't talk about that. Because both sides didn't want to talk about it or didn't want to negotiate the CBT or the 12 or 14 team playoff. So they basically sat there, twiggled their thumbs, worried about rule changes when rule changes mean absolutely nothing because the games are not even being played. So what was the point of meeting today except to buy a bagel and coffee? That was it. To act like it seemed like they they had this meeting to appease the fans. Like, look, we're trying, guys. No, you're not. You're wasting everybody's effing time. That's what you're doing. You know, Chris, I think both sides don't want to make a deal. And I don't know if you heard me about 10 minutes ago. I said what happened in the NHL when they canceled the season, they didn't waste any time. They had their negotiations between the union, the labor negotiations. Both sides knew they were very far apart. They knew they were very far apart. They didn't waste time and string along the fans. What they did, they said it very early. They said we're canceling the season. We're not going to be able to come to an agreement early enough where it makes sense to start the season at the halfway point. They didn't want to play 41 games or 45 games. They wanted to play nearly a full season. And they knew, based on their negotiations in the labor negotiations, that they weren't going to figure it out. So why drag anybody through the mud, especially the fans, even though it hurt the NHL for at least a year or two before fans started to come back and all the rules that were implemented and whatever economics that were involved, mostly the rule changes that got fans back into it and the excitement of the game, getting rid of the two-line pass and getting rid of the or putting the the lines behind the goaltender so he can only touch the puck in that area. So many things. The game is faster. They knew that they were going to be able to come to a deal at some point. And the best thing was not to drag the fans through the mud, not to take all their money for season tickets, partial tickets, or anything else. Basically, made fans expect to spend money, which Major League Baseball did. They made everybody spend their money I haven't seen any refunds yet. Have you guys? I haven't. Knowing that they're already missing 2 series. I didn't even get my refunds back for the spring training games, as which the 4 games that I would have went to. I haven't got my refunds yet. Those dates passed. Where's my money? But what they're doing, they're dragging fans along, getting them with their little puppet reporters. When the owners have a few puppet reporters, the players union have a few puppet reporters, they say, hey, throw this out there that we're going to be flexible with the CBT on the owner side. And we're going to be flexible with the 14-team playoff and give it to the puppet reporters of the player side. And they throw it out there, get fans a little bit excited, thinking that they're trying. All morning, I was ready to come on. I couldn't wait to come live, knowing that they were meeting today based on the reports that we got yesterday. The reason why I went live today, like I told you guys, because I thought they were going to talk about the CBT and the 14-team playoff. It seems like other things can get hashed out a little later, the little things, but they only spoke about the little things today. And that's the problem that I'm having. And they got everybody excited once again, and then they kicked us in the nuts. That's what they did once again. So, welcome to the league, Major League Baseball, that don't give a crap about you or me. They don't care how much money you spend. Well, they care, but they only care because it's going in their pockets. But let's be honest, guys. If you bought the tickets and you couldn't make a game, they don't really care. The tickets sold. You bought that Marcus Stroman jersey. Well, he ain't on there anymore. You bought anything that involves Major League Baseball. You just gave him your money, right? They don't care. You would think, and I even said this, if they would just take the fans out of it, and as bad as they market the stars of the game and baseball in general, how great would it be? They would make a deal, they would sign the deal, they agree to it, and they make an announcement. April 15th, Jackie Robinson's 75th anniversary from him breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball is going to be opening day. Do you know the amount of just notoriety and focus will be on Major League Baseball when that news comes out? And then on April 15th, everybody's going to be watching. It's a big deal. Mrs. Robinson is in her 90s. How many more years does she have left to be at Citi Field, to get honored in front of all the Mets fans, getting the standing ovation, speaking to the fans, speaking about her husband, who did great things not only on the field, but did things off the field, and dealt with everything he had to deal with. It would have been an honor for Major League Baseball to represent Jackie Robinson with every player wearing 42. That is so much newsworthy. I can't even explain it any better than that. Like, news and all types of media and anything you can think of that doesn't even talk about baseball ever would talk about baseball, because it involves everybody. It brings everybody together. But Major League Baseball don't want to bring everybody together. They want to be stubborn asses and egotistical asses because they don't care about anybody else but them themselves. So I'm going to keep on going through. Let's see. Nick, thank you. Ken, 100%. I agree 100%. Alexander, the owners, yes, they're not doing a good job. But once again, look at all the proposals. Guys, I've wasted enough time at work and just spending a few hours just looking at the proposals ever since the owners made the first proposal 43 days after the lockout. Look at all the proposals, guys. I know a lot of people can't stand the owners, but look where the owners started and look where the players started. If this pen is in the middle, the owners are about here, coming closer to what the players wanted. The players barely moved, and that's the problem. That's why I'm putting more blame on the players because the players are if you look at their proposals, it's very minimal, the changes that they made at all. The owners went from 600,000 a minimum salary to all the way to 700,000 with increases over the next 5 years up to 750,000. They put the arbitration pool around $30 million, which they were at 15 to 20 in their other proposals. They were willing to get rid of the draft pick. They were willing to put the draft lottery in. They were doing all that stuff that the players wanted. I have not seen a proposal from the players that says, oh, you know what, that's fair. I expect the owners to at least take a longer look at it and make a few changes. But what are the owners supposed to do? That's what I don't understand. That's what I have to make you guys understand. What are the owners supposed to do why do the owners have to keep on coming closer and closer to the players when the owners see that the players are not even coming closer to where they are? If I'm the owners, I wouldn't give in. Why would I? I just don't think that more people are not paying attention to what the players are proposing. All their proposals have been garbage coming from the players. Either their proposals are the asking cost of money that they propose is astronomical, and nobody in their right mind who owns a business would actually think about accepting that deal. And at least the owners, yes, they haven't budged much at all on the CBT, but everything else besides the CBT, there's about 7 or 8 core issues that the owners move in favor of the players. Even the CBT, they moved $6 million from the 214 luxury tax at the moment. So at least they moved a little bit at $6 million. The players have not gave a proposal worth looking at. And you can see it right here. I'm going to move that comment. That's what the proposal was from the players. What type of proposal is that, guys? Let me know, because I don't understand it. You're talking about rules that can't be implemented if you don't get on the damn field. Yeah, but Al, this was the players' proposal. This wasn't the owner's proposal. So pay attention to what the proposal was from the players. Al, I want you to go back. Just look at the last 3 proposals from the players and let me know if they're even making a try at giving anything but a garbage proposal to the owners. If you're the owners, if employees came to you and kept on handing you garbage proposals that don't even come close to what you might be asking for, but you see the owners slowly getting closer to the players, at some point, why are the owners going to keep on going closer to the players when the players are not even making an attempt to adjust on anything? And you could say, well, they're being a strong union. That's America. Yeah, okay. But this is also the same union that says that the owners are not negotiating in good faith. But yet every proposal that I've seen from both sides, the owners have been looking pretty good considering the garbage that the players have been proposing over the last couple of months. And all the people that think that Rob Manfred is a bad commissioner, what is the definition of a commissioner for a sports team? They're hired by the owners. They work for the owners. They're not supposed to be making a deal for the players. They're supposed to be making a deal for the owners. Granted, Rob Manfred has been a terrible job marketing this league. Is very bad with press conferences. He's terrible in that. But at the end of the day, he is doing his job. He's doing what the owners want him to do. He's a puppet for the owners. That's what everybody, I think, forgets. The same thing with every other league. Just because Adam Silver is a player-friendly commissioner doesn't mean that the owners, and basketball is a whole nother breed because the players run that league and it's a joke, but not a lot of people like Roger Goodell, not a lot of people like Gary Bettman of the NHL. It's just because they are the product of the owners. They are hired by the owners. Yeah, Jay, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't understand. The players, that offer, that proposal it's laughable. And if I'm the owners, why would I waste my time in the meeting if you're gonna give me a garbage proposal like that? And I want to make things clear, guys. That whole nonsense that all the reporters talked about yesterday, all of them, not just one or two, all of them, talked about the CBT is flexible. The owners will be flexible with the CBT if they got the 14-team playoff. The players said they would be flexible with the CBT not going as high as they want as long as they get what they want. So that just tells you right there that whatever reporters were the puppets for the owners and whatever puppets reporters that were for the players' side basically told them to spew total bull. That's what they did. That's what it was. Because who would have cared about today's meetings if we saw yesterday that they were going to talk about what we just saw? Why waste our time? I probably wouldn't even went live because it would have been pointless. The reason why I went live because they were supposedly supposed to be talking about negotiating the 14-team playoff and the CBT, with both sides had hard sticking points on, and both had bargaining chips with the CBT and the 14-team playoff to get in the middle somewhere to come to a deal on that. That's why I went live, because I thought there was going to be some substance to the meeting. And all we got was Dunkin' Donuts coffee and Dunkin' Donuts Boston cream donut. That's it. That's all we got. We got garbage. And if you continue to look at the player side and act like they're not one of the main reasons for this negotiations keeps on going sour, look at their proposals and see how garbage they are. You could look at the last 4 proposals. They gave 7 proposals from the day of the lockout. 7. The only one that was kind of somewhat fair but still astronomical was the third one, where they wanted $750,000, $775,000 minimum salary. They wanted $100 million pre-art pool. They wanted 6 or 7 teams draft lottery. That's what they wanted. It was astronomical ask. I'm sorry. No. That was just crazy to me. And Jay, exactly. $5 million increments is not going to get anybody anywhere. Now, I do think if the owners would have said we will move the CBT to 225, I think it would have prolonged the talks a little bit, because then the players could have came back and says, all right, listen, we will ask for 25 million pre-art pool and we'll give you the 14-team player, but you got to raise the minimum to at least 710 starting this year. But I think the $5 million is important when it comes to the CBT, but not for the pre-art pool. It's not a lot. It's not moving the needle at all on either side. Excuse me. Rob, Nick, it's not just the owners. I'm more mad at the players because I was expecting what the players union is doing is they are giving proposals that they know is going to irk and piss off the owners to make them to have them react in a way where they get all the players union doing is wanting the owners to get more bad publicity. If they're I guarantee you right now, when you hear a little bit more, you're gonna hear a little bit more on the owner's side at some point. You're gonna hear the owners were pissed off at that proposal. It was a joke, and that's the problem. It's not just March. if they don't get a done deal this week, we're going to lose another 2 series, which is leading to the end of April, possibly May 1st. And there's no guarantee. The way they're going right now, we might not have freaking baseball until June. I mean, come on. Like, they're clearly, both sides don't want to make a deal. It's clear. It's just obvious. And if we don't understand that now, then we're just gullible. All of us, including myself. And I would never include somebody else if I'm not going to include myself. And I was just as gullible and hype for yesterday because they were claiming to speak about the CBT and the 14-team playoff, among other things. But when you don't speak about that at all and nobody budges on the main issues, people look like you're not even trying. And does it look like they're trying? Because I don't see it. I just don't see it. George, how you doing? Well, yeah, I don't even care about giving a damn about the fans anymore. But when I see meetings that go absolutely nowhere, and what they claimed they were going to talk about the day before, they don't at all. It just makes you seem like they're on two totally different spectrums, on two different pages. They don't have the same talking points. Like, Tony Clark's probably yelling, "Give me pre-R pool. Let's get robot umps." And then you hear the owner saying, "Give me the 14-team playoffs." And they're not talking about the same issue. And last time I checked, if you get into an argument or a negotiation with somebody, you would probably want to stick to the same issue. So you might get somewhere. But if you don't talk about the same issue in a meeting, nothing's going to get done, no matter what you want. So I just don't understand, guys. Like, it's just the same bull all over again. And you know what, guys? Listen, I am one of the bigger baseball fans that I know of. I'm insane. I'm crazy. You guys know I'm passionate. I love my Mets. But they are killing the diehard fan that eats, sleeps, and you know what? Baseball. And what do they give us? Nonsense. I just Yeah, but you know what? The problem with the 4 or 5 owners that are causing all these issues, the players, yeah, they're staying strong, but at the end of the day, the owners are going to benefit more by not having a season than the players. Just that simple. It really is that simple. I'm sorry. I've seen the owners make more of an effort to get a deal done than the players. And if you don't see that, you're clearly very biased in the situation. All you got to do is look at the proposals. You can find them anywhere. ESPN and The Athletic have a full list of every proposal and every counter proposal to that proposal. And look at the difference. Minimal changes in the players. Not even trying to get into any type of negotiation on their proposal. All they want is an owner's counter proposal. That's it. That's all they want. So they're not. It's not like they're getting closer. I guarantee you guys, if the players come with a proposal that is worth looking at and is given that proposal in good faith, I guarantee the owners are going to budge a little bit on certain issues. But again, why would the owners budge when they see the players not making an effort? It's common sense negotiations, guys. That's all it is. Well, you know what? It's not done yet, guys. I'm still I guess I can say I'm pessimistic now about this week getting a deal done, but it just doesn't make sense. To if they pass Jackie Robinson Day, and some people might not really care about that, that it's only a day, but it's a historical moment, not just for baseball, but in this country. It's a big deal. And if they just blow past that, you think Marcus Stroman talked about Met fans being racist? You want to know what he's going to say, knowing that the owners and he's not going to talk about the union, obviously, but he's going to talk about the owners being racist because they were willing to miss Jackie Robinson Day on the 75th anniversary. I guarantee you, if you hear that games are canceled up until the 15th, you're going to see the players, most likely Marcus Stroman, who is a loudmouth, talk about that. And you know what? I'm not gonna say it's racist. I'm gonna say it's more of the fact that they don't care about the history of the game anymore. They don't care. It's a huge deal. And you know what? It's probably a huge deal to, there's not a lot anymore, the small percentage of African American players. And let's be honest, it wasn't just African American players, it is Latino players as well. He broke that barrier for, yes, it was African Americans, but it was also for the minorities that weren't able to play in Major League Baseball with the white boys, as they called it. I mean, they have what they needed for this league to get so much free marketing by doing what they have to do and setting it up so they can start opening day on April 15th. And they're missing the bit again. 100% missing the bit again. Hey, Rocky. Hey, Roberto. Member of Talkin Metro Rob. How you doing? Ken, I know that's not funny, but yeah, that might wake him up a little bit, but tactical, thank you. But you know what? I get that the commissioner is the owner, was hired by the owners. He works for the owners. I get that. But like I just don't understand that. Are they so, like, they seem like they're airheads, they're looking up at the sky and they don't see nothing in front of them. Like, they gotta realize how badly they're screwing the sport up. Because I'm telling you guys, if they don't start until May or June, they will lose some diehard fans. Because some diehard fans are gonna be like, I can spend my hard-earned money elsewhere. And if the pandemic didn't show you anything, or showed you at least one thing, it showed you people found other things to do when sports wasn't going on in the first couple of months of the pandemic. People found other things to do. And that was the worst thing possible, because now that there's other sports going on, people are going to slowly gravitate to the other sports. And you already see it. And Major League Baseball, for some reason, doesn't realize that. And the players don't either, because they're not really trying either. So, Roberto, exactly. They just don't care about the fans, man. They really don't. Aiden, they already talked. They talked for an hour and a half. It didn't really go anywhere. That's it. It's there you go, Tactical. See, it's your birthday. It would have been perfect. Yeah, it's Sutter. Yes, I just seen that. I was just looking at it now on my laptop, and I was just gonna look at it on my phone so I don't mess up the stream. So I was just looking at that. All right, so this is from Danny Abriano. MLB sees little progress in Union's latest offer. Like I said, Union at 231 million when it comes to the CBT. MLB expected to rise to 230 million, 230, 750,000 in the next offer. Unclear when sides will meet next. So again, I'm not surprised that the owners didn't see any progress, because the proposals that the players have been given has been minimal, movement at all or minimal progress. They don't even try. They try to get a reaction from the owners. So everybody who is pro player, pay attention to what's going on here, guys, because the players have been given garbage proposals from day one. Let's see, what else do we got? Here we go. Somebody just said it. Seems like MLBPA plans today was to test the MLB owner's final offer. So that could be a possibility that they tested the owners with their offer today to give a little bit of a kick in the ass, saying, "Hey, you want to give a bullcrap final offer?" Which I don't think it was a bullcrap final offer, but that's what the players think. And we'll see in a couple of days if the owners stand by their offer. I mean, couple of days. You think they meet tomorrow? I mean, Jesus. How hard is it to put a proposal together when you already seen everybody's numbers? Like, I just don't understand it. Like, it's not that hard, guys. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it at the moment, guys. Yep. All right. So I'm going to keep on looking at your comments, guys, and see where we're at. Christopher, yes, let's go Mets eventually. Great comment. 100% great comment. That's all. I like that. Sony, I don't know. You know, for anybody who's just tuning in, I I just think, and we saw this with the NHL season when they canceled it. When the union and the owners knew they couldn't come to any type of agreement before the season, they didn't waste time. They didn't take every single penny from every fan as long as possible and drag it out when they knew they weren't going to come to terms early enough to have the season actually make sense. They called the season, they canceled the season. Not saying that that was the smartest move, but if you look at it in a larger perspective, it made the NHL bigger. It made the game better. They knew fighting like cats and dogs over money and rules and whatever for months on end is going to not only disrespect the fans, not only look like babies crying over spilt milk, but they knew that it was going to hurt the game more by wasting everybody's time month by month negotiating something that they knew they weren't going to be able to get done, and canceling the season. They knew by canceling the season that they would give themselves time to turn every page, look at every small print, the fine print, and get the deal that everybody can say, I believe it's fair. And it made the game better. It brought the fans back. The game is exciting. And that's what the NHL did. What I think they should do now, cancel the season. Because if you're going to keep on coming with the nonsense of back and forth bull and half-ass proposals back and forth, you're never going to come to a deal. All you're doing is pushing fake news to each of the puppets of the reporters on each side, saying, hey, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Hey, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. And they don't. So they get everybody excited, and everybody starts checking Twitter. Everybody gets on YouTube. Everybody's looking at every social media they can find to find any bit of news about what they were supposedly were going to talk about today, and you got none of it. So it's basically with, showing a ball to a dog, getting them happy, but never really throwing the ball. That's basically what they're doing. And I don't know. It's annoying. Really annoying. Of course, but Rocky, you could say that about any owner of any company, not just the owners of Major League Baseball. If any owner of a company, I can assure you, if I was owning a company, if I was able to get away with paying people or not paying people at all and making them work for free, who wouldn't do that and take 100% of the profit? Everybody would do that. But it's not, again, it still ain't all about the owners. I really would like you guys to go back and look at every proposal. There's been 8 proposals from the owners, full proposals, and 7 from the players. Look side by side. ESPN, The Athletic have full proposals next to each other. You see the first proposal and then the counteroffer from the other side. Look at it and tell me who actually made an attempt to better their proposal each and every time. And I guarantee you'll see, if you're not biased, if you really are just neutral in the situation and read the proposals, you will see that the owners have been negotiating in better faith. I'm not saying good faith, better faith than the players ever had with every garbage proposal that they provided to the owners. Not saying that the union has to, bend their knee on everything the owners ask or want. But when you give a $5 million jump in a pre-arb pool, it's not going to affect the owners at all. It's only going to piss them off. Yeah, Ken, I kind of agree with that. I know some people was like, oh, he's a crusader for the younger players. No, he's not. No, he's not. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but like, in any of the owners' proposals, remember, there was an A and a B proposal at some point that the owners gave them so the players can choose one of them and add what they wanted, but choose one of them. Remember that? The option A and option B, which one was the 12-team playoff, the other one was a 14-team playoff, that was offered to the players. That was also with the pre-arb pool at $20 million, and the other one was at $30 million. And then the minimum salary, the 12-team playoff was $675,000, and the 14-team playoff was minimum salary of $700,000. And both of them had draft pick lotteries attached. You know what the players' counter proposal was? None of those options, but their own option. That had nothing to do with the owner's A or B option. They gave them a choice. Both choices benefited the younger player. The pre-arb pool was going up. The minimum salary was going up by at least $100,000 from one of the proposals. The draft pick compensation was in there. The draft lottery was in there. The DH was in there. Why didn't the players union counter propose one of the options and use that as a basis to use their next counter offer? They didn't do that because they didn't want to. Excuse me. I don't think it's completely Scott Boras, in my opinion. I think it was more. I think it's a combination. I think Tony Clark, former player, he's a hard nosed guy. As you can tell in his press conferences, he's a guy that doesn't like to budge on anything. And let's be honest, guys, the players were calling for Tony Clark's head in the last CBA because he was so gullible and basically did a terrible job for the players. And he almost got fired. But I guarantee you, he promised the players in the next CBA he's going to do everything he can to get what they want. That's why this is the problem. I guarantee you, if there was a new guy running the players union and not Tony Clark, I have a pretty good feeling that there would be a deal at this time. But Tony Clark can't be one of those guys that shy away from anything now because he's already on the chopping block if he doesn't get the deal the players want. Alexander, 100% agree. I think it's the last nail in the final nail in the coffin. 100%. You know, they don't realize even though 94 was a player strike, it nearly killed the game. If it wasn't for the steroid era, who knows where baseball would be today? I guarantee you, the salaries wouldn't be as big as they were today. So, I mean, come on. So it's gonna turn a lot of people off, man. A lot of people. Sorry, guys, with that loud noise, I dropped the mic. Yeah, we're all trying to think positive, Karen, but they don't give us a lot of reasons to be positive when they lie to us. They shoot out fake news to their puppet reporters to give us hope, and then come the next day thinking they're going to speak about the issues the reporters talked about, and it's a complete opposite. That just You're just lying to your own fans. It just doesn't make sense. I'd rather them come out and say we're having a hard time coming to a negotiation. We're not sure how we're going to figure out these issues, and both sides are on two different sides of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. We're trying, but it's not looking good. I would respect that more of them telling the truth like that than spilling out nonsense to their puppet reporters who are on each side. I'd rather that. That's true, Christopher. Yeah, tactical. Like I'm not 100% on the owner's side. The owners have some blame in this. Absolutely. They could have easily not locked out the players and try to make a deal and could have been playing the season or playing spring training. But I understand the owner's perspective. But again, guys, look at the proposals over the last couple of months, and you tell me who has made better strides on trying to get a deal done. Nobody's going to give you send a proposal that is 100% for the other side. That just doesn't make sense. That's not how businesses run. And I'm sorry, it just does not make sense what the players are doing. Every proposal, except for one, was all garbage proposals. Would be funny. Yeah, Christopher, I understand that. They are here for entertainment, but let's be honest, we're the ones biting our nails in the ninth inning of a very important game in September. We're sweating it out. We're stressing. The morning of that very important game, you're excited. You can't wait to get out of work or school, to get home, eat some food, relax, get ready for the game at 7, get ready to go. Big game coming, and what happens? That's how we are as fans, right? That's what we do. But, being negative probably wouldn't been a negative stream if they actually went to a meeting and talked about what they were supposedly going to talk about yesterday, which the owners and the players put out there yesterday, that they were going to specifically talk about the CBT and the 14-team playoff. That was the sticking points that they were going to talk about today. If you look back on yesterday's tweets from anybody, the players are looking to give the owners the 14-team playoff to be flexible with the CBT. And the same thing from a reporter who's on the owners, who is one of the puppets for the owners, said the owners are somewhat flexible if the players are willing to give that 14-team playoff. So if they're willing to be flexible, talk about it. But clearly they weren't going to talk about it at all today. They just wanted to put that news out there so everybody can be a little excited that they're talking about the main issues that are causing these problems for a deal not to get done. And what do? They talk about robo-umps, rule changes that you got to give the union 45-day notice. And the only economic thing they talked about was the pre-R pool raised from $25 million to $30 million that was proposed to the owners. Who gives a crap about the rules if you're not on the field to enforce them? That's it. Like, I don't see what's so hard about that. Why the last thing they should speak about, they should agree to everything else. And the last page should be the rules. Because if you agree on everything else, there's a pretty good chance you're going to start playing baseball soon because you agreed on the real main issues. The last thing you should be worried about and talk about are the rules. That's it. What is so hard about that? It's Backstage Baseball. What's up? Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit on that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're having live streams as many as possible. Anytime there's a meeting, I am going live, even though most of the time it's negative. But at least we get to talk about it and say our frustrations. That's what these streams are for, to voice my frustration, to voice your frustration. And that's it. But Backstage, shout out to Backstage Baseball. Thank you for tuning in. Braden, what did they get for lunch? I don't know. A piece of crap? I don't know. Because honestly, that's what they deserve, both sides. But Timothy, it's not a federal offense because they're not paying the players during spring training. So it's not a labor law as of yet. I'm going to tell you, as soon as supposedly the games, remember, the games aren't officially canceled yet. Just so everybody knows that. The games are not canceled until you pass that day. And I am pretty sure on March 31st, the players are going to file a grievance that the owners locked out the players in bad faith to get leverage during negotiations. I have a feeling they're going to do that. Are they going to win? I think they could. But that doesn't mean that the owners are going to budge on certain issues like the CBT. And I still believe if the owners didn't lock out the players were going to strike to get leverage on their side. But you know what? It's going to be a bad thing if the players strike because it would show that the players all along weren't willing to give any leadway to get a deal done or give proposals in good faith because they haven't. Andre, how you doing? JD, thank you so much. Andre, that's exactly what it was, a dog and pony show. You know, we talked about this yesterday. Andre, all you guys, you most of you guys were here yesterday in the stream. What was the things that we were talking about when we got the news that they were going to meet tomorrow or today, right? They were flexible on the CBT and they were flexible on the 14-team playoffs. Both sides, according to reporters, were flexible. That was from their sources, which is probably from the owners and probably from the union. So if both sides are flexible and the reporters said it, they were going to specifically speak about that today. They spoke about none of that at all. So they lied just to get us excited. And all they talked about, Andre, was what you see on the screen. They talked about rules that have no bearings unless you're ready to play the games. And they talked about the pre-op pool. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I, JD, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, they stuck with 12, but it wasn't even that wasn't what was said to us yesterday. That's the problem, JD. And the same thing with the owners. The owners didn't budge on the CBT at all. But yesterday, the same reporters that always seem to side on the owner's side was the ones that said that the CBT is somewhat flexible if the owners get the 14-team playoff. The same thing with some of the reporters that are pro player put out there that the players are flexible on the 14-team playoff as long as the owners budge a little bit on the CBT. So both sides put out fake news just to get an edge to the other side. But all they did was lie to the fans about what they got because the only news that we get are what the reporters get. And if you notice, Jeff Passan is very pro player. And then you have a guy like Drellich that is mostly pro owner for the most part. He's kind of in the middle, but I feel like he's pro owner. Going back from the tweets from yesterday, I'm going to read tweets from yesterday because this was it right here. Let me see. Once again, give me 1 second. I'm going to look at where. This was what's the date? Give me a second. I just want to make sure I got the right date before I say nonsense. Let's see. Okay, Evan Drellich. Here we go. A guy who I think is pro owner. Deal not close, but not impossible. CBT thresholds, pre-all pool, big issue among others. MLB has proposed two choices. Remember the A and B. That was one of them, right? I'm going to go back from. I'm going to go to John Heyman. A lot of people seem to like him. So I'm going to go, let's see, yesterday. Here, John Heyman, 23 hours ago, yesterday. MLB and the Players Union negotiators will resume talks tomorrow after a one-day respite. It's mostly about the CBT now. What CBT? They didn't even talk about it. So, nonsense. I mean, and then we're going to go to another reporter, Drellich, from yesterday. Let's see. What did Drellich say? Okay, here we go. Evan Drellich, this was 23 hours ago. Around the same time, John Heyman tweeted, the MLBPA has given its positions on some subjects verbally, but hasn't formalized all of them in a written proposal. So it's going to be taking things that have already been discussed at table and putting them on paper, and will probably include some new proposed changes as well. Okay? That's what we got. And here we go. More union proposal today. This was 1 hour ago. No change on the CBT or minimums. If draft pick comp goes away, MLB now okay with CBT. Listen, this is funny. This is how you know the players are screwing around. They were so big about the CBT penalties, right? The players are willing, if the draft pick compensation goes away starting this year, the MLBPA will be okay with other CBT related penalties, sometimes called non-monetary penalties. So they're okay with the harsh penalties. What? So what is going on here? It just what they're proposing makes no sense. That's what I don't understand. It makes no sense. So they were so against the penalties, but if you get rid of that draft pick compensation that goes away, you can put in the penalties. So wait, even if the CBT goes to $238 million, if the owners budge and go with what the players want at 238. With all those harsh penalties that are even higher than the ones previous CBA, you're telling me that the players will be okay with that when the same amount of teams that usually would go over the luxury tax are going to be the same teams. So there is no change in anything. That's why the players' proposal makes no sense, guys. The MLB PA is still at a six picks for the draft lottery. MLB is at 5. One team. Somebody can just say, all right, let's go with this. I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't know, guys. But let's see. What else do we got? Do we got anything? Anything else? So that's basically it, guys. The CBT wasn't even talked about. Other things that were like minuscule that could have been easily taken care of are getting pushed to the side now for whatever reason. Again, another half-ass proposal. Ken, I agree. I think Rob Manfred looks really bad in this situation. You know, as much as he is the employee of the owners, he is hired by the owners. He still is in charge of the face of the game, making the game better. Even though he has to side with the owners, he still has the job of growing the game, and he has not done that. He has failed. Yeah, I know. I mean, but it's more symbolic than the World Series. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna get a lot of backlash from the players, and I guarantee you, Stroman's gonna say something about it. Gonna get backlash from the players, from a lot of news sources that would never speak about baseball. You're gonna hear it, guys, and that's the problem that is gonna happen if they screw up this. They have the opportunity to market the game on one of the biggest anniversaries in all of sports, and it's part of Major League Baseball, where you can celebrate Jackie Robinson and Mrs. Robinson, who is 98, 97, 98, I think 99 years old, who probably, God forbid, doesn't have many years left. Let's be honest. Can't even celebrate her late husband on the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. It makes no sense. They're shooting themselves in the foot, in the leg, and the other leg. And they're basically not they're basically cutting their legs from under them. It makes no sense. I don't know about that because let's be honest, the Wilpons, who everybody hates, was a big proponent. They were the ones that started with Jackie Robinson's wife coming to the stadium and doing a ceremony and stuff like that. They basically built up Ebbets Field because they loved the Brooklyn Dodgers so much. Into City Field, everything. I mean, there's a memorial of everything. As soon as you walk into the Jackie Robinson Rotunda, you got a big 42. You got pictures all over the rotunda of Jackie Robinson. So maybe the other owners don't care, but I'm telling you right now, these players are really going to care. I'm telling you right now. It's a big deal to a lot of players. Lindor, you know what? I think that's probably hopeful. It's probably I don't know anymore. I really don't. It's insane. It really is. Well, if we get 80 games, you can expect me not to be laser focused on the season because it's another crap year, just like the pandemic year. Andre, I'd rather them cancel the season than go through this nonsense. Stop making us go. You're pushing us through. You're dragging us through the mud over and over and over again. Some hope, they knock us down. A lot of hope, they knock us down to the ground. And we're already on the ground, but they're stepping over us now. Now they're dragging us through the mud. They did. It's crazy. Well, that's the other issue. The players want to get paid for the two series that they're missing. And if they want to get paid for 162, that was the big gripe of the reason why we didn't play a lot of games in 2020 was because of the fact that the players wanted to get paid for 162 for just playing 60. What? Like, come on. Somebody said that Bob Nightingale posted. I don't know what you want to take out of his tweet, but let's see. What did he say? Let's see. What did he tweet? Okay. Bob Nightingale, there's now a $50 million difference. $80 million the players offered, and the owners $30 million in the pre-op pool. They're $50 million apart. In the let's see. In the pre-arbitration pool between the two sides, while the luxury tax threshold differences are 18 million in 2022 and 137 over 5 years, remain the same. The union also permitted MLB to implement rule changes. Yeah, we saw that. We heard about that. Again, Bob Nightingale, very little progress again today in the Major League Baseball labor talks. Union keeps their same luxury tax and minimum salary threshold and drops the pre-op pool to 80 to 85. We know that. So let me just change that really quick. It was 80. I thought I had 85 up there. There we go. Okay. So basic, yeah. So at the moment, the only thing they agree upon is the 12-team playoff, which they agreed upon in Florida. Again, the owners are trying to get that going a little bit so they can actually get a little bit of leverage. If they can get the 14-team playoff, maybe they'll raise the minimum. I don't know. But I don't even know, guys. It's so stupid. Andre, I'd rather them cancel the season. Why go through the process? I just don't understand. Oh yeah, of course, JD, oh, absolutely. But it's you know nobody benefits. Me, Wardy, Hayden, anybody, Ballcap, anybody you watch on YouTube, no matter if it's a Met fan, Met content creator, Yankee, anybody, or just baseball in general, nobody is going to benefit from a season getting canceled at all. Like, what are we supposed to talk about if the season's canceled? I have no idea. Like, I have to change this to a hockey channel? Like, it's just crazy. And yeah, Daniel, absolutely. I already bought tickets to about 10 Brooklyn Cyclones games because I'm close to Brooklyn. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. And it's sad. Really freaking sad. Oh, Lord. Yeah, JD, exactly. Tony Clark did a terrible job in the last negotiations, and now he's trying to make up on everything. which is impossible in any negotiation. Unless you got somebody at gunpoint, you might get everything you want. Other than that, Tony Clark is just looking to get everything back that he lost. He wants everything because he lost badly the last time and he's trying to make up for it. And all it's doing is not progressing the players' proposals because of the ego of Tony Clark. That's exactly what I am. Cole, how you doing, buddy? Exactly, Andrew. Everything is give and take. Everything. And that's what I don't understand. They're going into this, both sides are going into this negotiation thinking they're going to get everything they want. And you're not getting anywhere in that aspect. But again, if you look at the proposals from day one, every proposal from both sides, you tell me who made more of a push to get a deal done. The owners have really tried. Not saying that they have perfect proposals, but they moved a lot of things towards the players' side. Then the players even came close to on anything from their proposal. I agree. I think Tony Clark knows his job's on the line, and that's why he's being a hard ass. I don't know. The same way they talked about for the first couple of months of the pandemic. They basically replayed games mostly. I don't know, Andre. They're not testing right now, so who knows how many guys are taking steroids. Cole, I did not hear what Scott Boras is doing. Leo, how you doing? Courtney, how you doing? There you go. Yeah, you know what? It's very hard to get fans to strike or boycott the games. It's You're not going to get enough people to do it. Unfortunately, there'll be some, but not enough to make a dent. Hey, Sus, how you doing? 100% agree. 100% agree. Easy guy, exactly. Robo negotiators. Maybe they'll actually get a deal done than these freaking morons. Yeah, exactly. And they made a big deal about the $1 million pool for the seasonal workers that work at the stadiums. Both sides are going to do that. Great. So you know how much that is? About $166 for missed games. It's not a lot, guys. Grant, what's up, buddy? A member of Talkin Mets and Rob. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for tuning in. So I'm gonna be here until 4 o'clock, guys, because there ain't really nothing else to talk about. I thought we were gonna get news gradually over time, but we got it very quickly, unfortunately. Boris did say something. I don't know what he's exactly. The only way I found out about the owners was Bob Nightingale, because we all know Bob Nightingale is a puppet for the owners. So, and you didn't hear nothing. Every reporter talked about the players giving a $1 million fund for the workers at the stadiums, and then Bob Nightingale, like a few hours later, said that the owners are going to do the same thing. Like, come on. Let's see. So John Heyman tweeted about 6 minutes ago. He says this: strong contingent on players' side doesn't want to move their luxury tax CBT offer down any further from 238. If they don't, the stare down stalemate may go on a while. MLB surely has some wiggle room from 220, but hard to see them going up another 8%. I agree. I think 230 will get it done. I think that's fair. If the owners go up to 230, nobody should be on the player side at that point. If the players don't accept that deal, with everything they already got offered from the owners, if the owners move up and go to $230 million and the players don't accept that, nobody should be on the player side at that point. Exactly, John. 100%. That's exactly what the players want to do. They lost the last two CBAs and they're trying to get it all back in one CBA, which is nearly impossible. Circle, how you doing? Yeah, of course, William. That's our luck, right? The Mets finally get the owner that spends money. Everybody's excited for the season, and we still haven't had a real season with everything Cohen has to offer. 2020 was the pandemic. 2021, we kind of started very slowly because the first series of the year against the Nationals was canceled because of COVID. So it just hasn't started quickly yet. Daniel, I don't know. They suck. Both sides. They all piss me off. Yeah, Andre, I don't think they're being played as fools. I think every reporter is more on the side of one side than the other. And when they're on mostly one side, you're going to get if there's five reporters on the player side who was pro player, you're going to get the union spilling a little bit of news that's probably not true to give a reaction. They get a reaction from the owners and the fans, and then the reporters put it out there as puppets for the players. The same thing with reporters that are pro owner. The owners are going to spill some news to give to the reporter as a source. They put it out there. It gets us excited because it looks like it's going in the right direction to cause a reaction to the players, and it's a ripple effect. It goes in circles. That's what they're doing. Brad, how you doing? Yeah, we've been talking about this most of the stream. They don't give a you know what about us. They don't. They don't. Because a lot of us are still gonna go over there, pay the $25 in parking at City Field. Well, at least if you're a Met fan, pay the $40, $50 for a ticket, buy that $6.50 hot dog, buy that $7 soda or that $10 beer. They know it. Most people are. I just don't know. It's sad, but it's reality, guys. Yeah, Hayden, we talked about this when we were live the other day. It's it's a terrible situation, and nobody seems to actually want to make a deal. It just doesn't seem that way. Yeah, Jose, 100%. Yeah, but I know it sucks. There's a lot of people who book flights. Like I booked my trip to Port St. Lucie for spring training, and obviously that got canceled. And I was supposed to be going to Washington in the second series of the year, going to Washington on I think it's April 8, 9, and 10. That's booked. I didn't cancel it yet because that series is not completely canceled yet. But I don't know. It's unfortunate because they don't care. that some people might have lost money by booking trips based on the schedule, and they don't care about that. They don't. You never know, Tigers fan. You just never know. But we are missing regular season games. They already canceled 2 series. That's a guarantee. They're gonna have three and a half to 4 weeks of spring training, no matter when they come to a deal. So add on 3 weeks at the very least, and that's going to be a start date. If they come to a deal today, they will be able to start in the middle of April. They have to, by Wednesday, if they don't come to a deal on Wednesday, they're probably not going to start anytime past before the 16th of April. So they're not making up games either there. They're not. The owners already said it. They're not making up the games lost because the owners don't want to play the players. They're not going to do double headers. They're not going to just make up a makeup game. They're not doing it. So games lost are games lost. We all already are not going to play 162 games. We're already down to 156 based on the 2 series that are missed so far. Those games are not being made up. It's a pipe dream if you're thinking that. Oh, exactly, Christian. He has a tough job. He has to abide by the owners who hired him, but also at the same time trying to grow the sport. But let's be honest, guys, he has grown the sport over the last 10 years, 10 to 15 years. Baseball was a $4 to $5 billion business. Now it's already up to a $10 billion business. So he's not doing a bad job in that sense. But he's a lawyer. He's a stickler for negotiations. He's very hard in negotiations. Bud Selig was a fan of the game. He loved baseball. Manfred doesn't love the game. He just loves his job. That's it. I don't blame you. I do not blame you that you wouldn't watch, and that's okay. Circle, I want baseball to start too. Courtney, I don't think they're going to move to Japan. Some might play internationally, but I don't think a lot of them want to risk getting hurt. I agree with the 12-team play. I haven't continued my beef with Wardy. I'm just saying, I was saying in general with everybody who has baseball content on YouTube, if the season's canceled, there's nothing to talk about. So it's going to hurt all our channels. I never brought up Wardy about anything regarding beef. I don't have beef with nobody. I don't really give a what about anybody who talks crap about me because I don't care. If anybody's the baby, he's the one that blocked me on Twitter for no apparent reason, but that's okay. Yeah, and people keep on talking about Boras. I understand it, but I mean, the majority of the players are freaking Boras clients. But I'd be pissed if it's an 80-game season. It's just that would suck. You know what? Yeah, Mike, I agree. Anytime soon for sure. Yeah, if they play in June, they're lucky to play 80 games, 85 games. TJ, they're not negotiating anymore. They stopped negotiating by 1:30. They met in a room at 12, left at 1:30. The proposal was garbage from the players to the owners. It was terrible. They didn't talk about the CBT. They didn't budge on the 12-team playoff. They went to 85 million from 80 million from pre-arb pool. But guess what, TJ? They talked about the rules that they can't implement if they don't play the games, like robot umps and giving the union a 45-day notice on rule changes. That's what you got. So I don't know. Whatever. I see it, Fernando. Yeah, I don't know if it was all about Boris. I honestly think they weren't really close at all, and there was a lot of smoke from both sides that they were close. I agree. I think that would be fair, but I think if the owners go to 230, they want the 14 team playoff, and I think the players should give it to them because at that point, from 214 million, which is the current luxury tax CBT at the moment, if they go to 230, that's $60 million more than what it was last year. So I don't think why the players should be mad about that. It's only $8 million from what they're asking for. Well, Dan Halem is the lead negotiator, and he's Rob Manfred's second in command. So probably TJ. No, they already met. If you look on Twitter, they already put their proposal. It's already out there. Let's see. Yeah, TJ, where's your source? Because it doesn't make sense. Because every reporter, baseball reporter, put out the proposal. It's already out there. So the meeting's been done 3 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago. It's done. They're not speaking again today. We don't even know if they're speaking tomorrow. Aiden, they're not gonna have double headers. The owners don't want it. Yeah, Grant, I know you talked about that already. And the seven line is supposed to go down there too. Oh, that would be great, man. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? Wasn't the other time the Mets? Because I remember I bought tickets to the seven line out in Houston when that huge hurricane hit and they canceled. They didn't cancel the game, but they canceled the outing because basically things were underwater. Oh boy. Uh, Tater. Unfortunately, the players gave a crappy proposal to the owners that didn't involve any changes to their CBT ask of 238. They didn't go down, and they still kept the 12 team playoff. They didn't move to 14 team playoff. So they basically talked about nonsense. The pre-arb pool, the players asked for $5 million more from the arbitration pool, and they also put in about rules that they get notified 45 days in advance and robo-umps. That's what their proposal was. Basically nonsense, a garbage proposal. Davin, you know what? Maybe I at this point, if you miss a month, it's 27, 28 games, depending on which team you look at schedule wise. So do the math, right? That's already what 130 something games, 140. So yeah, I mean it gets closer and closer. By the end of this week, they're gonna cancel another two series. That's it's I don't know, guys. It's 120 seems like it's probably possible. No problem, Tater. Aiden, at the moment, there hasn't been any information that they were talking about that they're going to meet tomorrow. It's still possible. It's only 4 o'clock, so it's possible they could still meet today. You know, the owners have to go over that. Well, Andre, I don't think the players are going to stay strong either because the players are going to lose the most out of this. Hey, Joe, what's up? So that's basically it. It's all good, Joe. So yeah, that's basically what it is right now. We don't know if there's going to be a meeting tomorrow. The players gave a proposal to the owners, which was a half-ass proposal, in my opinion. Yeah, they didn't really do a good job. On the screen right now is what they proposed, among other things. They want to keep the draft pick compensation that goes away, which is fine. Their draft lottery, the players wanted at 6 games, and the owners want 5 teams. Sorry, 6 teams and 5 teams. So it's really not. It's really not. Nobody's budging. And again, my opinion is the players are given half-ass proposal after half-ass proposal, and it's not actually solving anything. If you're going to keep on giving half-ass proposals in any situation you're in, if anybody gives you a half-ass anything, you're not going to be happy with it. So why would you give a better counteroffer knowing that they're not even trying? Travis, I just see you. Yes, absolutely, man. We got to do a collab, all three of us. Absolutely. That would be fun. And hopefully we can actually talk about baseball, right? Because Jesus, I mean, all we've talked about was the lockout and players that we can't get yet because of the lockout. So yeah, man, just hit me up. Talk to Hayden. You know, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but you can just message me and we'll set it up. You know, we can talk. We can badmouth the owners and the players, and that's basically what we can do on our streams, man. But yeah, absolutely, hit me up. Thank you so much. Absolutely. So once again, guys, the players and the owner met at 12 today. Met for an hour and a half. Take that for what it is. And they gave a half-ass proposal, guys, and that's exactly what you seen. Travis, once again, thank you. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Absolutely. We're trying to bring positive vibes, but Major League Baseball is making everything freaking negative. So, but once again, guys, the players' proposal was basically nothing of importance. It really didn't put any, there was really no traction to their proposal at all. So it sucks because what were told yesterday was that they were gonna start talking about the CBT and the 14-team playoff, which was two bargaining chips on both sides, and they didn't even discuss it. They basically stood pat on that, and that was pointless. Joe, I don't know if it's gonna get done anymore. Honestly, I think best case scenario May. Worst case scenario, I think the season would be over. So it is what it is. Maybe Wardy, I'm not even gonna approach that because it's just stupid. But whatever. Yeah, Joe, they're not budging on their ask at all. That's the problem. And I don't see them moving anywhere in good faith. So it is what it is. Braden, check John. All right. Let's see. Okay, so This is John Heyman about 10 minutes ago. The sides today were still working off the 12-team postseason they temporarily agreed upon in Jupiter, Florida. Players are open to the 14-team playoff preferred by the owners, but they are apart on the format, Jesus Christ, of the 14 games and the ghost win. I mean, my God, guys. Jesus. It's I just can't, guys. I can't. It's just stupid. I mean, once again, guys, Don Heyman tweeted about a few minutes ago. The sides today were still working off the 12-team postseason they temporarily agreed upon in Florida. Players are open to the 14-team playoff that the MLB owners prefer, but they are apart on the format. So the hell with the CBT, the hell with mostly everything, but the format is where they're having problems with. Once again, Travis, thank you so much. I I don't even understand it. I think if the players go up to 14, I think it will get done quicker. I agree, Leo. 100% Travis, once again, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Shout out to Travis once again. I agree. I think if the players budge on the 14-team playoff, I guarantee you the owners will go up to at least 230 million in the CBT. And I think that's when a deal can really get done. Because if you're not going to move on the two biggest issues they have been talking about over and over and over again, they've been beating it over our heads, the same thing. The owners don't want to go past 220. The players don't want 14-team playoff, only if the format's a little different. But I guarantee you, if the owners go at least to 225, I think you're going to see the players move a little bit. Like, all right, they're trying to come our way. And then eventually, what the owners should do is just say 230 million for the CBT. Give us the 14-team playoff, and we can talk about everything else. If they can agree to those two things, everything else is going to come along with it. It's very simple. And Leo seems like that would be it too. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's optimism or I don't even know what to call it anymore. It's just downright disgusting. Yeah, I'm about 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I was optimistic a few days ago. I thought that coming back to New York and you heard about that they're flexible on big core issues made you feel like they were actually going to figure something out, knowing that they were working, that they were flexible on certain things. But you can't go to a meeting and say you're flexible and are not flexible on the two things that you said you'd be flexible with. Either you're lying or you're still playing the stare down game, which doesn't help any side. So I just don't even know. Aiden, I don't even know how to answer that. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, again, they had their donuts, they had their coffee. The players took their pieces of paper, gave it to the owners. They looked at it. You know, it was probably about 100 pages. Probably looked at it like, all right, we'll see. We'll see you next time. We'll give you a day. Yeah, yeah, I did, but I think the players are going to budge. But it's just a matter of it's just more of the fact that Tony Clark is basically working for his job right now. Because I would not be surprised if he don't have a good CBA, the players they're going to fire him. And I think that's the big thing. I think Tony Clark, knowing that he got his ass handed to him the last time, he doesn't want he who wants everything he asked for, or it's not worth signing. That's the way he's in this negotiations. So, well, but see, that's the thing, JD, with this whole CBT, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Why do the small market teams give a damn about the luxury tax being 225 or even if it's 250? Those small market teams are never going to sniff that amount. So why would they be holding it up? If teams go over the luxury tax, the small market teams get the money from that tax. So I don't see the problem. Like, I just don't. That's what I don't understand with these small market teams. They're holding up something that doesn't negatively affect them at all. So it's stupid. It doesn't make no sense on either side. It really doesn't. 100%, Courtney. 100%. I'm probably gonna end the stream at about 4:30 because there ain't much to talk about except complaining about the bullcrap garbage proposal that the players gave. I think MB. I think best case scenario May 1st. Worst case scenario, I don't even know if there'll be a season. So, well, there's a reason why the Angels owner is kind of in this middle of the Reds, the Diamondbacks, and I forgot the other team. That were the 4 teams that said no to that other offer a week ago. Is because Audie Moreno really disliked Steve Cohen. And remember, he was one of the ones that came out and said he doesn't want Steve Cohen owning the Mets. And he voted no. I think he just likes to stick it to the big market teams because, let's be honest, guys, the Angels technically are not a big market team, but they do spend a lot of money. And what I think Audie Moreno wants is less competition for the players he wants. That's the only thing I can think of why he's involved in this nonsense. Yeah, but I don't see why small market teams fear Steve Cohen or Dave Dombrowski of the Phillies or pick the owner. Why do they fear them? If the Mets go over the luxury tax, they got to pay whatever percentage they're over the luxury tax on each dollar. That money gets split between the small market teams. So the small market teams are benefiting it. If the small market teams were smart, they would invest that money in their team and they wouldn't have to worry about being shitty every year. But they pocket that money and then they cry poor, which makes no sense. It's the exact opposite. Hell yeah, Janesri Fargas. Hell yeah. He had a glimpse of excellence for like a game. But hey, why not? Yeah, but that's always been baseball. But you know what, though? The small market teams have the money. They were talking about this on WFAN today. The TV deal and the revenue sharing amongst teams. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but every Yankee jersey or Mets jersey or Red Sox jersey, Dodgers jersey, Angels jersey, all the merchandise that is sold as a whole gets split up to every major league team. It doesn't matter if more Yankees jerseys or Mets jerseys were sold, everybody gets the same percentage of that pot of money. So a team like the Pirates can spend money on any player they want. They just choose not to. But yet they're holding up this deal. Why? You don't want to spend the money on the player because you don't want to, not because you don't have it. You don't want to. Whose fault is that? That's nobody but that owner's fault. It just doesn't make sense to me. You're gonna tell me, the Pittsburgh, beautiful stadium, they don't get a lot of attendance. I think their stadium holds about 35,000, right? If they were to sign Max Scherzer and Chris Bryant, you don't think more season tickets would have been sold? You don't think more people would have been going to the games and get excited? Of course. But they don't do that. They make no attempt. That has nothing to do with the owners that spend a lot of money. It has something to do with the small market owners that don't want to spend the money. Not because they don't have it, because they don't want to. That's on the small owners. And the bigger issue is that Major League Baseball does not penalize these teams for not doing that. They take the luxury tax money that they get from the teams that go over the luxury tax. They take it and pocket the money. They don't reinvest it in their team. Maybe it's one of the rules that the players should be putting in instead of these stupid robo umps and these stupid tell me 45 days before you implement the rule. How about implementing that? Saying any money that a small market team money that they get from luxury tax from teams that go over the luxury tax, they have to reinvest it in their 40-man roster. That's a simple fix. That means they don't pocket the money, but that's still not going to stop small market teams from not spending money because they don't want to. Has nothing to do with the big market owners. I don't know because like they used to be very good and competitive, and then they after the whole Machado thing when he left, they seem to not give a damn anymore. So I don't know. I would say kinda. Yeah, Christian, but the small market teams, why would they want a minimum floor? That doesn't make sense. The Pirates don't want a minimum floor of $100 million when their payroll is like 30 million. They don't want that. But I get your comment. I get it with the player fund and everything like that. But these small market owners just like to cause problems. They can easily spend money on any of the players that the big market teams do. They just choose not to. Yeah, Christian, but yeah, they spend it on business operations. But that wasn't the reason for the luxury tax getting shared to small market teams. What MLB tried to do a good thing by helping out the small market teams to use that money to invest in the team. But because there's no rules for what you do with that money, of course they're either going to pocket the money or use it for baseball operation or operations expenses. Of course. When there's no rule, they can do whatever they want with it. But most of those small market teams never spend it on a player, if at all. So exactly, JG. That's exactly what it is. No, I didn't say tax revenue and revenue sharing is not the same. The tax revenue is the percentage they go over that they give to small market teams. The revenue sharing is merchandise that is bought by fans, that all that money, no matter how many players, how many jerseys are sold by each team, it doesn't matter. That revenue that they make from merchandise goes into a pot and gets evenly split between all the teams. The tax revenue is different. That tax revenue goes to the smaller market teams, which they seem to never do anything to invest in the team on field. They might use it elsewhere or pocket some of it, but they don't use it for the on field players most of the time. And that's the bigger problem. Yes, Cyril, I agree. I'd be bored too. Well, Devin, they kind of spent money. They gave Juan Franco that $12 million deal. But I mean, considering what you see with star players, it's kind of a deal that they gave. But that's what the Rays have to do. We got some NL East predictions. At this point, I don't even care about predictions. I love to do predictions, but at this point, I would like to actually know that the game's going to actually happen. I agree. I think that's pretty fair to get the CBT done. I would actually move that a little bit. I would put 225 and I would keep 230, 230, 235, then 240. But it's not a bit. I think that's pretty fair. I think the players should really look at that and say, hey, that's a pretty good. That's not bad. Braden says Bob again. What else did this guy put? Let's see. What else did he put? MLB's reaction today, deadlocked. I mean, nobody really had a. He didn't have to tweet that to realize that they were deadlocked today. It was clear based on the proposal by the players. So, I think Tanaka's going to stay in Japan. All right, so Andy Martino tweeted, so take it for what it's worth. The Players Association chose to come back to us with a proposal that was worse than Monday night. MLB spokesperson Glenn Kaplan says they are deadlocked. So, like I said, guys, they came with a worse deal than they did from when the last time they were in Florida. So that just shows you there that the players are still not. They're not giving proposals in good faith. They're giving garbage proposals. And for all the people who are on the player side, this is what the player side has done the entire time. This is what the players done the entire time. So, again, guys, this is what we have to deal with. So, this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to call it a stream. I would say it's been fun, but it's been a lot more aggravation and being pissed off and frustrated. But once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in from what I thought was going to be a longer process of a meeting, but it turned out to be a nonsensical meeting, a bullcrap meeting, a garbage meeting, and a garbage proposal from the players. So if we hear anything over the next couple of hours that they might meet again today, which the way this is looking, if they're deadlocked, I don't see the point of meeting tomorrow. But if they do meet tomorrow, I will be going live. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Travis, once again, thank you so much for the donations and the super chat. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And JD, thank you as well. I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button before I go so people can see this stream and replay it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to Talkin Mets with Rob for all the latest live streams. Hit on that notification bell so you get notified when I go live and when I post my videos, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. But next time I go live is when there will be a meeting. So everybody have a good rest of your Sunday. And let's hope this week they figure out not to be deadlocked and get a deal done. I really appreciate all your support, guys. And as always, Mets fans, let's go Mets. Have a good night, guys.